The first thing I register is the cold bite of the marble floor against my bare knees. Then the weight of my sister's diamond bracelet, sharp and heavy, shoved into my palm by her own trembling fingers. The same fingers that are now pointing at me, her eyes wide and wet with manufactured tears. "I don't know why you do this, Mia. I trusted you." Her voice wobbles perfectly. A performance she's given 100 times before. Around us, the glittering guests at our parents' anniversary gala have gone absolutely silent. Crystal glasses pause mid-air. Forks hover over plates. My mother's face is a mask of betrayal, her lips pressed into a thin, bloodless line. My father's jaw is tight with disappointment, and I can see the exact moment he decides I'm guilty. The security guard is already moving toward me, his hand resting on his belt, his eyes cold and professional. This is the moment I've lived through before that I remember every excruciating detail from the first time. The way my voice cracked. The way tears streamed down my face as I grabbed at anyone who would listen. "It wasn't me. Please, you have to believe me." She put it in my hand. I remember my mother turning away. I remember my father calling me an embarrassment. I remember the cameras catching my hysterical face, the headlines branding me a jealous thief, the years of whispered contempt at every family function. I remember the way my name became a cautionary tale. I remember my sister's smug, satisfied smile as she watched me crumble. I remember the silence at the end. The exhaustion. The accident. And now I'm here again, 22 years old, with her bracelet still warm in my palm. So I do the only thing that makes sense. That I stop defending myself. That I uncurl my fingers and let the bracelet clatter to the floor. The sound rings through the ballroom like a gunshot, sharp and final. Diamonds scatter across the polished marble, catching the light in tiny, mocking sparks. "You're right, Natalie," I say. My voice is clear and flat. Not a tremor in it. "I did it. I stole your precious bracelet." The gasp that ripples through the crowd is almost physical. 100 people suck in air at the same moment. My mother's hand flies to her chest. My father's mouth falls open. But Natalie's eyes, her eyes flicker, just for a split second, with something that looks like confusion. That this isn't part of her script. She was prepared for my tears. She was prepared for my denials. She was prepared for the beautiful spectacle of my destruction. The messy, desperate pleading that would cement my guilt in everyone's minds. She doesn't know what to do with my surrender. It's like she's been handed a script in a language she doesn't speak. "Well," my father says, his voice gravelly and thick with disappointment, "at least you're finally telling the truth." I smile at him. It's not a happy smile. It's the kind of smile that makes people take a step back, and I see my father's foot shift almost imperceptibly. "Oh, I'm not done telling the truth yet, Dad." I turn to the security guard, the one who'd been reaching for me. He's frozen now, his hand still hovering in mid-air. "You have the cameras, right?" I point to a small, almost invisible lens above the chandelier, tucked into the ornate gold trim. "High definition, I'm sure. They record everything in the back hallway, don't they?" The one that leads to the private safe rooms. Natalie's face, for a split second, goes pale. I see the blood drain from her cheeks so fast it leaves her almost green. She recovers her composure quickly, smoothing her expression back into wounded innocence. But I saw it. I saw the panic. That I lived through this once. Back then, I was too busy screaming to pay attention to the little details. But now I remember. I remember everything. "Mia, don't be absurd." Natalie's voice is higher now, tighter. "The cameras show you coming out of the room. They show you with the bracelet in your hand. Everyone saw it." "They show me coming out of the room," I correct her, turning to face the crowd. "But what do they show before that? What do they show at 9:15? Let's ask security to pull the feed from 45 minutes ago. The one where Natalie goes into the safe room to touch up her makeup, and her boyfriend, Jason, goes in right after her. The one where she hands him something small and shiny to pass through the window to her friend from college. The one who's conveniently already left the party. What was her name again? Chloe from Brown. The silence that follows is so complete I can hear the ice melting in someone's champagne glass. That I see it then. The flicker of pure, unadulterated panic in her eyes. It's a beautiful thing. It's the look of a predator realizing it's suddenly become the prey. "You're lying," she shrieks. Her perfect veneer is cracking, splintering right down the middle. You're just trying to drag me down with you. You're sick, Mia. You've always been jealous of me. Everyone knows it. You're the jealous sister. The ugly one. The one who could never. Have I been jealous? I ask, cutting her off. I reach into my clutch and pull out my phone. My old phone. The one I never thought to check the first time around. Then who is this? I turn the screen toward the crowd. It's a blurry photo taken from an angle through a window. But it's clear enough. It's Natalie wearing the same dress, holding the same diamond bracelet, talking to her boyfriend Jason in a dark corner of the garden. Her hand is midair, holding it out to him. His hand is reaching for it. You think I just let you frame me without a backup plan? I say, savoring every word. You have a habit of wearing your jewelry to parties and then losing it, Nat. But you always seem to find it again in someone else's purse. You've done it to 3 of your best friends in the past 2 years. I just thought this time I'd make sure there was a paper trail. A low murmur ripples through the crowd. I watch faces shift from shock to suspicion to dawning recognition, then a woman steps forward. She's elegant, silver-haired, with the kind of face that commands respect. I recognize her as Eleanor Vance, the matriarch of one of the city's oldest families. Her daughter was one of Natalie's victims. She did. Eleanor says, her voice cold and clipped. She accused my daughter of stealing her earrings. My daughter almost got expelled from our country club. We didn't say anything because we couldn't prove it. But that bracelet. She points at the scattered diamonds on the floor. I saw it at a charity event last month. Natalie showed it off to everyone. She said it was a gift from her father. My father's head whips toward Natalie. I never gave you that bracelet. Natalie is backing away now, her hands up, her lips moving but no sound coming out. She's trapped and she knows it. The roar of the crowd is building, voices overlapping, accusations flying. The security footage from the safe room is already being downloaded to my phone. I say, holding up the device. I knew you'd try this tonight, Nat. The only question was whether you'd do it while I was close enough to get a picture. And you're so predictable. You always need an audience, don't you? I turn to my father. She's been skimming from the family business accounts for 3 years too. That's not my evidence. That's just a fact you can verify with your own accountants by Monday morning. My father's face goes from thunderous to utterly gray. He sways on his feet like I've just hit him. He looks at me, and for the first time, there's something other than disappointment in his eyes. There's horror and the beginning of shame. Mia, he begins. His voice cracks on my name. Don't, I say. Don't say my name like that. Not yet. Not after everything. I look at Natalie. She's sobbing now. Real tears, ugly and messy, mascara streaming down her cheeks. She's lost. She's done. The evidence is out, and it's not me begging, crying, pleading for someone to believe me. Just facts. Cold, hard, irrefutable facts. She lunges at me, her hands reaching for my hair. Her mouth open in a scream of pure rage. But the security guard catches her first. He grabs her wrists, and I watch the life drain out of her eyes. You wanted to take everything from me. I say, my voice quiet so only she can hear. But you forgot one thing. You can't steal a truth that's already been proven. I turn and walk out of the ballroom. I don't look back. I don't need to. I can feel the weight of 100 eyes on my back, but it's not the weight of accusation anymore. It's the weight of a story that's just begun to turn. A story where I'm not the villain. A story where I'm not the victim. I'm the one who walked away. In the hallway, I lean against the wall. My hands are shaking. I'm not shaken with fear. I'm shaken with the sheer, electric relief of not having to beg, of not having to spend another minute of my second life, trying to make people believe the monster was real. I just had to let the monster hang herself with her own rope. And I know, with a certainty that settles deep in my bones, that the fight isn't over. Exposing her at the party was just the opening move. There are legal battles ahead. Family wars. A reputation to rebuild from the ashes of the first life. My father's guilt. My mother's complicity. The business accounts I know she's been bleeding dry. The connections I'll have to sever and rebuild. But for the first time, I'm not fighting with my back against the wall, screaming into the void. I'm fighting from the center of the ring, with both eyes open. And I'm not going to lose. Not this time. I push off the wall and walk toward the exit. The night air hits my face, cool and clean. I breathe it in like it's the first breath I've ever taken. Somewhere behind me, I hear my sister screaming. I hear my father's voice, sharp and demanding. I hear the chaos I've unleashed. And I smile. Because this time when they ask questions, they'll be asking her. Not me. This time, I'm not just surviving. I'm going to live. The cold night air hits my face like a slap. And for a moment I just stand there on the front steps of the country club, breathing. The valet is staring at me, his mouth half open. He probably heard the screaming from inside. Probably saw the way I walked out like I own the place. I don't care. I hand him my ticket and wait for my car to appear, my heels sinking slightly into the gravel. Behind me, the glass doors burst open. Mia. It's my mother's voice. Sharp, frantic, the kind of voice she uses when she's trying to regain control of a situation that's already spiraled past her reach. I don't turn around. I keep my eyes fixed on the driveway, watching for my headlights. Mia, you stop right now. We need to talk about this. We need to. Need to what, Mom? I finally turn, and I see her standing there in her silver gown, her pearls catching the dim light. She looks older than I remember. More tired. She's clutching her clutch so hard her knuckles are white. Need to spin it. Need to figure out how to save Natalie's reputation while throwing me under the bus one more time. Her mouth opens. Closes. She looks like a fish gasping on dry land. That's not fair, she says finally. You don't understand what it's like. The family name, the business, everything your father and I have built. I understand perfectly. I cut her off. You built it on my back. Every time she lied, every time she stole, you chose her. You chose the lie that was easy over the truth that was inconvenient. So don't stand there and tell me about family names. You gave mine away years ago. The valet pulls up with my car. A modest sedan, nothing flashy. It's the car I bought with my own money from my own job, the one Natalie mocked relentlessly because it wasn't a Mercedes. I take the keys from the valet without looking at him. I'm going home, Mom. If you want to talk, you can call me when you're ready to apologize. Not to Natalie. To me. I get in the car and drive away before she can say another word. In the rearview mirror, I watch her grow smaller and smaller until she's just a silver speck against the bright lights of the club. Then I turn a corner, and she's gone. The drive home takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes of silence, of my hands gripping the steering wheel, of my mind racing through everything that just happened. The look on Natalie's face, the panic in her eyes, the way my father's face crumpled when I mentioned the business accounts. I pull into the parking lot of my apartment building and sit there for a long moment, engine running. My hands are still shaking. I look down at them and realize I'm still wearing the bracelet, not Natalie's bracelet. My own. A thin gold chain with a small charm. The only piece of jewelry I own that isn't a hand-me-down or a pity gift. I touch it, and the cool metal grounds me. I'm out of the car and halfway to my building when my phone buzzes in my clutch. I pull it out and see my father's name on the screen. I let it ring. It buzzes again. And again. I silence it and tuck it back into my bag. I take the stairs up to my apartment. It's a small place, a one-bedroom on the third floor of an old building. Barely furnished. A few books. A laptop. A bed. It's not much, but it's mine. It's the first thing I built without my family's money, and I'm proud of it. I kick off my heels and collapse onto the couch, staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzes again. And again. I ignore them all, then there's a knock on my door. I freeze. No one visits me. No one even knows where I live except my landlord and the delivery guy who brings my groceries. I get up slowly and move toward the door. My heart pounding in a way that has nothing to do with fear and everything to do with the fact that I have no idea who could be on the other side. I check the peephole. It's Eleanor Vance, the silver-haired matriarch who stepped forward at the party. The one whose daughter Natalie framed. She's standing in my hallway in her elegant gown, her hair still perfectly coiffed, looking like she stepped out of a magazine. I open the door. Ms. Vance, I say, and my voice comes out steadier than I feel. How did you find where I live? She smiles, a small knowing smile. I have my ways. And please call me Eleanor. May I come in? I step aside and let her in. She moves through my tiny apartment like she's evaluating a property, her eyes taking in everything. The worn couch, the mismatched curtains, the stack of books on the floor. But there's no judgment in her gaze. Just assessment. Sit down, Mia, she says, gesturing to the couch like she's the one who lives here. We have things to discuss. Seat. She takes the chair across from me, crossing her legs with the kind of grace that comes from decades of practice. I know what you did tonight, she says. Not just the expose. I mean what you did before that. The preparation. The photos. The timing. You didn't just stumble into that moment. You orchestrated it. I don't deny it. She's been doing this for years. Someone had to stop her. Yes, Eleanor says, nodding slowly. Someone had to. And you did. But that's not why I'm here. She leans forward and her eyes sharpen. The question is, what are you going to do now? I blink. What do you mean? Natalie is going to fight back. You know that. She's going to say you forged the photo. She's going to say you planted the evidence. She's going to find a lawyer and a PR team and a dozen witnesses who will swear on their mother's graves that she's innocent and you're the unhinged, jealous sister who's been out to get her for years. I feel the blood drain from my face. I hadn't thought that far ahead. In my first life, I was too busy being destroyed to ever see the aftermath. I don't know what happened next. I don't know what she did. She's already making calls, Eleanor continues. As we speak, she's in the back room of the club, sobbing on the phone to a crisis manager. She's telling everyone who will listen that you attacked her, that you made a scene, that you're mentally unstable. She's spinning the story before the truth can take hold. I sit there numb. I thought I was ahead of her. I thought I'd won. But the fight isn't over. It's just begun. I can help you, Eleanor says. I have resources. Connections. I know people who can make sure the truth sticks. People who can make sure Natalie doesn't get away with this like she did with my daughter. Her voice hardens on the last words, and I see something raw and angry flash behind her composed eyes. But I need to know something first. What? She holds my gaze. Are you in this for revenge? Or are you in this to win? The question hangs in the air between us. I think about my first life, the years of humiliation, the loneliness, the quiet, desperate hope that someone would finally see the truth, the accident that ended it all. That I think about tonight, the look on my mother's face, the way my father's voice cracked when he said my name. I'm in this to survive. I say quietly. And if survival means taking her down, then I'll take her down. I'm not going to let her do to me what she did to your daughter. Not again. Eleanor's eyes narrow slightly. Again, I realize my mistake too late. I can't tell her about the first life. She'll think I'm insane. But something in my voice must have been too honest, too raw, because she just nods slowly and doesn't push. All right, she says. Then here's what we're going to do. She pulls a business card out of her clutch and hands it to me. It's plain white, no logo, just a phone number. Call this number in the morning. Tell them Eleanor sent you. They're going to get you the footage from the club, the unedited files from the security cameras. They're going to get you the financial records from your father's business that Natalie has been skimming from. They're going to get you everything you need to make sure this story sticks. I take the card, my fingers trembling slightly. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. Eleanor smiles, and it's a cold, sharp thing. I know Natalie. And I know that anyone who's willing to take her down is someone I want on my side. Besides, she adds, standing up and smoothing her gown, I've been waiting a long time for someone to do what you just did. I'm just grateful it finally happened. She moves toward the door, then pauses with her hand on the handle. Oh, and Mia, one more thing. What? Your mother is going to call you tomorrow. She's going to ask you to come to the house. She's going to say she wants to talk things out, make peace, find a solution that works for everyone. I feel my stomach drop. And you're going to say no. You're going to say you'll meet them in a neutral location. Somewhere public. Somewhere with cameras. She looks at me over her shoulder. Because she's not calling to make peace, Mia. She's calling because Natalie has convinced her that if she can just get you alone, she can talk you out of pressing charges. She'll use guilt. She'll use family. She'll use every tool she has. And if you walk into that house, you won't walk out the same person. I open my mouth to respond, but she's already gone. The door clicks shut behind her. I sit there in my tiny apartment, staring at the business card in my hands. The night is silent. My phone has finally stopped buzzing. I look at the screen and see 23 missed calls. Most of them from my mother. A few from my father. 2 from an unknown number that I suspect is Natalie's crisis manager. That I think about the way my mother looked at me tonight. The way she chose Natalie, just like she always does. The way she'll probably do it again tomorrow, if I give her the chance. I won't give her the chance. I put the business card on my coffee table and look at it. Eleanor Vance. A stranger who believes me more than my own mother ever did. That's the thought that stays with me as I finally crawl into bed. Exhausted but buzzing with adrenaline. That's the thought that carries me into a restless sleep filled with fractured dreams of diamonds and screaming. I wake up at 6 in the morning to my phone buzzing. It's my mother. I let it ring. When it stops, I pick up the business card and dial the number. The phone rings twice before a woman's voice picks up. Low, professional, with the kind of calm that tells me she's been expecting my call. State your name and business.
Mia Chen.
Eleanor Vance gave me this number. A pause. Then. Hold. The line goes silent for 30 seconds. I count the seconds in my head, staring at the gray morning light filtering through my curtains. My coffee is cold. I didn't even drink it, Miss Chun. The voice returns, crisp and efficient. We've been waiting for you. I'm going to send you a link. Open it on a secure device, not your phone. Do you have a computer? Yes. Good. Open the link. You'll find a folder with 6 files. Watch them in order. You have 3 hours. After that, the link expires. Wait, who are you? What is this? But she's already gone. The line clicks dead and I stare at my phone for a long moment, then push myself off the couch and grab my laptop. The link comes through seconds later, a string of random characters that looks like a virus. I hesitate. Eleanor's face flashes through my mind, the cold certainty in her eyes, the way she spoke about Natalie like she was describing a disease. I open the link. The folder contains 6 video files. I click the first one. It's security footage from the country club. Time-stamped 9:15 p.m. The back hallway outside the safe rooms. I watch Natalie walk into frame, her heels clicking against the marble, her phone pressed to her ear. She stops outside the door, glances around, then pushes it open and disappears inside. 30 seconds later, Jason follows her. The second file is from a different angle. The window in the safe room. The camera catches a blur of movement, then Natalie's hand appears, reaching out to pass something small and glittering to a figure I can't quite see. The figure is wearing a dark coat. She takes the object and disappears into the night. I pause the video and zoom in. The figure has a small red bag over her shoulder. Chloe's bag. I remember it from the party, the way it caught the light when she walked past me. The third file is audio. Natalie's voice, clear and sharp. You take it to Chloe now. She's waiting in the garden. Tell her to leave immediately. Don't let anyone see you. Jason's voice, nervous. What if someone sees me? Then you say you were getting air. You say anything. Just get it out of this building. I'll handle Mia. I stop the video and sit back, my heart pounding. They recorded everything. The cameras, the audio, the entire setup. Eleanor's people must have had access to the club's security system for days. The fourth file is a bank statement. Natalie's personal account. I see the transfers she made from my father's business. The small amounts that added up to a fortune over 3 years. 10,000 here. 20,000 there. All routed through shell accounts. All traceable back to her. The fifth file is a copy of a text message exchange between Natalie and her crisis manager. It's dated last night, less than an hour after the party. Crisis manager. The narrative is set. You were the victim. She attacked you. You're seeking legal counsel. Stick to that. Don't speak to anyone else. Natalie. She's going to come after me. She has photos. Crisis manager. Photos can be doctored. We'll say she hired someone to fabricate them. Focus on the emotional angle. Your sister is unstable. Everyone knows that. Natalie, everyone does know that. She was always the weak one. I close my eyes. The words hit me like a physical blow. Weak one. That's what they all thought of me. That's what I was in my first life. The quiet sister. The forgettable one. The one who begged. The sixth file is a video. I click play and find myself staring at a live feed. It's a room I don't recognize. Plush carpets, dark wood paneling, a large mahogany desk. And sitting behind that desk, her hair perfectly styled and a glass of champagne in her hand, Is Natalie that she's smiling? I just want to say, she says, addressing someone off camera, that I've been through a lot tonight. My sister, my own flesh and blood, attacked me. In public. In front of everyone we know. She made up lies and told horrible stories to try to destroy me. And you know what? She almost succeeded. The camera pans slightly, revealing another person in the room. A man in a tailored suit, his face professional and unreadable. Her crisis manager. But I'm not going to let her win, Natalie continues. Her eyes glisten with tears that look rehearsed. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to tell the truth. And I know the truth will set me free. The video stops and I stare at the screen, my hands shaking with cold fury. She's already started. She's already spinning the narrative. She's already painting herself as the victim and me as the unhinged aggressor. My phone buzzes that I look at the screen. My mother's name flashes that I let it ring that I watch the call go to voicemail. A moment later, a text message appears that I asterisk Mia, please. I need to see you. We can fix this. Just come home. Mom asterisk I think about what Eleanor said. Asterisk she's not calling to make peace. She's calling because Natalie has convinced her that if she can just get you alone, she can talk you out of pressing charges. Asterisk I type back. Asterisk I'll meet you at the club. The main dining room. 1 o'clock. Bring Dad. Asterisk. I press send before I can second guess myself. My phone buzzes again almost immediately. Asterisco fine. But please Mia. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Asterisk I don't respond. I spend the next 2 hours going through the files again. I download everything onto a flash drive. I make copies. I memorize the details. The amounts. The dates. The sequence of events. I'm not walking into that meeting unprepared at 12:30. I'm in my car, driving back toward the country club. The dining room is empty when I arrive. The staff have cleared out the tables, leaving just a single set in the center of the room. A pot of tea sits on the table, steam rising from the spout. My mother is already there, sitting in one of the chairs, her hands folded neatly in front of her. My father stands by the window, his back to me. Good afternoon. I say, my voice echoing slightly in the large room. I didn't expect to see everyone assembled so quickly. My mother doesn't smile. Sit down, Mia. I don't sit. I stay standing, my bag slung over my shoulder, my arms crossed. Where is Natalie? I ask that she's taking some time to recover. My mother says. What you did to her last night was cruel, Mia. You humiliated her. In front of everyone. She humiliated herself. I glance at my father. He still hasn't turned around. Did you check the accounts, Dad? Did you see what she's been doing? Your father is working on that. My mother says carefully. But that's a separate issue. The real problem here is the story. The narrative. We need to figure out how to fix this as a family. Together. The word together makes me want to laugh. There's nothing to fix, I say. The truth is the truth. And I have proof. Real proof. Not just photos. Video. Audio. Bank statements. Everything. My mother's face goes pale. What are you talking about? I reach into my bag and pull out a folder. I drop it onto the table. My mother stares at it like it's a bomb. Open it. I say. Her hands tremble slightly as she picks up the folder. She opens it and I watch her eyes scan the first page. Then the second. The third. Her breath catches. Mia? It's all there, I say. The security footage. The audio. The bank transfers. Everything she did, everything she said. Everything she's been hiding. And there's more where that came from. My father finally turns around. His face is gray, his eyes hollow. He looks older than I've ever seen him. I found it, he says, his voice hoarse. The accounts. The missing money. I didn't want to believe it, but I found it. Then you know the truth, I say. You know what she's been doing. You know who she really is. My mother looks down at the folder, her face crumpling. This will destroy us, she whispers. If this comes out, it will destroy everything. The family. The business. All of it. Then let it, I say. Because I'm done protecting her. I'm done protecting the family at my expense. I'm done being the one who has to suffer so everyone else can stay comfortable. My father takes a step toward me. Mia, please. We can figure this out. We can. Don't. I hold up a hand. Don't ask me to be the bigger person. Don't ask me to let her get away with it one more time. I've been the bigger person my whole life. And where has it gotten me? The room falls silent. My mother is crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. My father stares at me like he's seeing me for the first time. The only person who has any say in what happens next is me. I say. And I've already decided. I'm going to take her down. Every single piece of evidence I have is going to the police, to the press, to anyone who will listen. I'm not going to let her get away with it. Not again. I turn to leave, and my mother's voice stops me. Wait, she says. Mia, wait. There's something you need to know. I pause. She wipes her eyes and takes a shaky breath. It's about Natalie. The accounts. It's not just the money. There's something else. Something I think you need to see. She pulls a folded piece of paper from her purse and holds it out to me. I take it. Unfold it. And I feel the world tilt beneath my feet. It's a letter. Handwritten. Addressed to my mother. Dated 2 years ago.
Mom, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean for it to happen. The accident wasn't my fault. But I know the truth. And Mia deserves to know it too. Asterisk Natalie's handwriting. I found it in her room, my mother says, her voice breaking. I was looking for something else and I found this. I don't know what it means. But I think there's something she's been hiding from all of us. Something bigger than the money. I stare at the letter, my mind racing.
Accident.
2 years ago. I remember the accident. The one that ended my first life. But in this timeline it hasn't happened yet. So what accident is she talking about? I stare at the letter in my hands, and for a long moment I can't breathe. The words blur together, swimming in front of my eyes. Asterisk the accident. I know the truth. Mia deserves to know it too. Asterisk my mother is watching me. Her tear-streaked face a mask of confusion and fear. My father has moved closer, his hand resting on the back of a chair like he needs something to hold him up. What accident? I hear myself ask. My voice sounds distant, like it's coming from someone else. What is she talking about? My mother shakes her head. I don't know. I tried to ask her about it, but she shut me down. She said it was nothing, that she was just writing a story, that I shouldn't worry about it. But I've been carrying this for months, Mia. I couldn't throw it away. I couldn't throw it away because something about it felt wrong. I read the letter again. The handwriting is Natalie's, all sharp loops and flourished letters. But there's something different about it. The lines are uneven, like she was trembling when she wrote them. The paper is creased and worn, like it's been folded and unfolded many times.
Mom, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean for it to happen. The accident wasn't my fault. But I know the truth. And Mia deserves to know it too. Asterisk I turn the paper over. There's nothing on the back. Just those 6 sentences, cryptic and damning. Did she ever tell you what accident she meant? I ask, my eyes still fixed on the letter. Was there a specific incident, a car accident, a fall? My mother wipes her eyes with a trembling hand. I thought maybe she meant something that happened when you two were younger. But you were both so careful growing up. There were never any accidents. Not like that. Not like what. She looks at me, and I see something flicker in her gaze. Recognition. Knowledge. She's holding something back. Mom. I say, my voice sharp. What do you know? She closes her eyes, and I see the struggle play out across her face. The same struggle I've watched my entire life. The one between protecting Natalie and telling the truth. Your father and I, she begins slowly. We always thought Natalie was the strong one. The one who could handle things. And you. She opens her eyes and looks at me. You were always so quiet. So serious. We thought you were fragile. I was quiet because I was scared. I say. I was scared of her. I was scared of what she would do if I crossed her. My father makes a sound. A low groan that's half disbelief, half shame. Mia, we didn't know. We didn't see it. Of course you didn't see it. You weren't looking. You were too busy looking at her. I turn back to my mother. Mom, please. Whatever you know, just tell me. I can't fight this if I don't have the full picture. She takes a shaky breath. I found something else in her room. Something I didn't show your father. I wasn't sure what it meant, and I was afraid of making things worse. What was it? She pulls another piece of paper from her purse. This time it's not a letter. It's a medical record. I recognize the hospital's logo at the top. St. Mary's Memorial. This was in the bottom of her jewelry box, my mother says, handing it to me. I found it the same day as the letter. I don't know how she got it or why she kept it, but I think it might be connected. I unfold the paper and read it. The document is a discharge summary for a patient named Jessica Lowell. Date of admission 2 years ago. Date of discharge 2 weeks later. The patient was involved in a car accident. Head trauma. Broken ribs. A collapsed lung. I look at my mother. Who is Jessica Lowell? I don't know, she says. But I looked her up, Mia. She was a nurse. She worked at the same hospital where Natalie volunteered. Where you? She stops, her eyes widening. Where you met Natalie? I feel ice spread through my veins. Where you met Natalie? Natalie wasn't always my sister. I know that. Everyone knows that. She was adopted when we were both 6 years old, after her parents died in a car crash. A family friend of my parents, someone they knew from college, had passed away suddenly, and my parents stepped in to take her in. She was already 6, already formed, already carrying the weight of her loss. But she was never the girl I met. Not really. She was someone else, a stranger who came into my life and slowly, carefully took everything from me. Mom, what are you telling me? I ask, though I'm starting to understand. Jessica Lowell, my mother says, her voice barely a whisper. She was the driver in the crash that killed Natalie's parents. She was never charged. It was ruled an accident. But I think she trails off, shaking her head. I think Natalie found out. I think she kept this record because she wanted to know who Jessica was. And I think maybe what my father's voice cuts in. He's standing beside us now, his face gray and drawn. What are you saying, Eleanor? My mother flinches at the sound of her full name. I'm saying that I don't know what happened. But I know Natalie went to that hospital to volunteer. I know she asked to work in the same ward where Jessica was treated. And I know that a month after she started volunteering there, Jessica Lowell was in another accident. I feel the room tilt around me. Another accident. Another car accident, my mother says. She was hit by a drunk driver on the freeway. She survived, but she was badly injured. Badly enough that she never returned to work. I stare at the discharge summary in my hands. The dates line up. Natalie started volunteering at St. Mary's in September. Jessica was admitted in October. The first accident happened in November 2 years ago, Mom. I say, and my voice is shaking now. Are you saying Natalie was involved in what happened to Jessica? My mother's eyes fill with tears again. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just found the papers and I couldn't stop thinking about them. I couldn't stop wondering why Natalie would hide them. Why she would keep them in her jewelry box, locked away from everyone. I look at the letter again. Asterisk, the accident wasn't my fault. But I know the truth. Asterisk, what truth? The truth about the accident that killed her parents, the truth about what she did to Jessica, or something else entirely? I turn to my father. Did you know about this? Did you know she was looking into the accident? He shakes his head, his face pale. I didn't even know she had that letter. Your mother never told me. I didn't want to believe it, my mother says, her voice breaking. I didn't want to believe that the girl I raised could do something like that. But I couldn't throw the papers away. I couldn't let it go. I fold the letter and the medical record carefully and put them in my bag. I need to find out more. I need to talk to Jessica Lowell. Mia, don't, my mother says, reaching for me. Let the police handle this. Let someone else deal with it. You've already done enough. No, I say, pulling away. I haven't done enough. Not yet. Not until I know everything. I turn and walk out of the dining room. My mother calls after me, but I don't stop. I don't look back. The drive to St. Mary's Memorial takes 20 minutes. I park in the visitor's lot and sit in my car for a long moment, staring at the hospital entrance. My phone buzzes in my bag. I don't check it. I know it's my mother or my father, trying to talk me out of whatever I'm about to do. I walk into the hospital and find the information desk. The woman behind it looks up with a practiced smile. Can I help you? I'm looking for information about a former patient, I say. Jessica Lowell. She was admitted about 2 years ago. The woman's smile falters slightly. I'm not sure I can give out that kind of information. Privacy laws, you understand. This isn't about her medical record, I say quickly. I'm trying to find her. I'm a family friend. I've been trying to reach her, and I can't find any contact information. The woman studies me for a moment, then nods. She might still have a forwarding address on file. Wait here and I'll check. She disappears into a back room. I stand at the desk, my heart pounding. A few minutes later, she returns with a slip of paper. She left this address about a year ago, she says, handing it to me. I don't know if she still lives there, but it's the only one we have. I take the paper and look at it. An address on the outskirts of the city. A place I've never been. Thank you, I say, and I leave before she can ask any more questions. The address takes me to a small house at the end of a quiet street. The paint is peeling, the lawn overgrown. There's a wheelchair ramp leading up to the front door. I park and get out, my legs feeling unsteady. I knock on the door, and I wait. A woman opens it. She's younger than I expected, maybe 30, with dark circles under her eyes and a face that looks tired beyond her years. She's leaning on a cane, and I notice a long, faint scar running down her left arm. Yes, her voice is cautious, wary. Are you Jessica Lowell? Her eyes narrow. Who's asking? My name is Mia Chen. I'm Natalie Chen's sister. I pause, watching her face. The moment I say Natalie's name, something shifts in her expression. Fear. Recognition. Anger. I think you know my sister. She stares at me for a long moment, then steps back. You'd better come in. The inside of the house is small but clean. She leads me to a living room and gestures for me to sit on the couch. She lowers herself into a chair across from me, her cane resting against the armrest. What do you want? She asks. Her voice is flat, guarded. I found something in Natalie's room, I say. A medical record. Your name was on it. She flinches. She kept that. She kept it hidden in her jewelry box, along with a letter she wrote to our mother. She said something about an accident, about a truth she knew. Jessica laughs, a bitter, hollow sound. A truth she knew everything. She made sure of it. What do you mean? She looks at me, and I see something raw and painful in her eyes. Your sister came to this hospital 2 years ago. She started volunteering in the rehab ward. I was in that ward. I was there because I'd been in a car accident. The same accident that killed her parents. I feel my stomach drop. She knew you were there. She sought me out, Jessica says. She found out who I was and she made sure she was assigned to my room. She brought me water, food, clean blankets. She was the nicest person I'd ever met. Her voice cracks. For a while I thought she was an angel. What happened? Jessica closes her eyes. She asked me questions. At first, they were innocent. Just conversation. But then she started asking about the accident. About what happened that night. Whether I remembered anything. Whether I'd ever told anyone the truth. The truth about what? Jessica opens her eyes, and they're filled with tears. The truth about her parents. I was driving the car that night. But the accident wasn't my fault. I was sober. I was going the speed limit. I was stopped at a red light, and a drunk driver hit me from behind. Her parents were in the back seat. They died instantly. It was a tragedy. It wasn't my fault. The police knew it. The courts knew it. Everyone knew it. Everyone except Natalie. She didn't believe you. She didn't want to believe me, Jessica says. She needed someone to blame. And I was the easiest target. So she started coming to my room every day, asking the same questions, pushing me until I couldn't take it anymore. And then she stopped coming. When, about 3 weeks after she started, Jessica's voice is barely a whisper. And a month later I was in another accident. A car ran a red light and hit me at full speed. The driver was drunk. He claimed he couldn't remember what happened. But I know he was lying. I know someone paid him to do it. I stare at her, my mind reeling. You think Natalie arranged it? I know she did, Jessica says. I can't prove it. But I know it. She came to see me in the hospital after the accident. She stood at the foot of my bed and she told me that I'd gotten what I deserved. She said her parents had been avenged. And then she walked out and I never saw her again. I sit there, my heart pounding. The letter. The medical record. The pattern of Natalie's cruelty. It's not just about me. It's not just about the party or the accounts, or the lies she's told about me over the years. It's about everything. It's about a pattern of destruction that stretches back years to, I'm so sorry. I hear myself say. I didn't know. I didn't know any of this. Jessica shakes her head. It's not your fault. You're not the one who hurt me. But you're her sister. You're part of her family. Not anymore, I say. Not after everything I've learned. I'm going to stop her, Jessica. I'm going to make sure she can't hurt anyone else. I need you to tell me everything. Everything you remember. Every detail. She looks at me for a long moment, then nods. Okay. I sit back and listen as she tells me the rest. The late-night visits. The questions. The threat she saw in Natalie's eyes long before the accident. The way she tried to warn people, but no one believed her. When she's finished, I take out my phone and record her statement. She doesn't object. She just watches me with tired eyes. What are you going to do with this? She asked. Everything I can. I say. I'm going to make sure the truth comes out. All of it. The theft, the accusations, the money, everything she did to you. Every single thing. Jessica's face crumples and she starts to cry. I never thought anyone would believe me. I thought I was alone. You're not alone, I say. Not anymore. I leave her with my phone number and a promise to stay in touch. I walk back to my car, the afternoon sun blinding me, and I sit there for a long moment with my hands on the steering wheel. My phone buzzes. I look at the screen and it's Natalie. Asterisk, I know what you're doing. Asterisk, the message reads. Asterisk, you think you can destroy me, but you don't know everything. You don't know the real story. Meet me tonight. Alone. I'll tell you the truth about what really happened with Jessica, and then you'll understand. Asterisk, I stare at the screen, my heart hammering in my chest, and I know I shouldn't go. I know it's a trap, but the letter is still in my bag. The medical record is still in my bag, and there are still pieces missing. I type back. Where and when the reply comes instantly. Asterisk, the old pier. Midnight. Come alone, or I won't tell you anything. Asterisk, I put the phone down and stare out the windshield. The old pier. A place that holds no good memories. A place where everything in my first life started to fall apart, that I don't know what she's planning. I don't know what she'll tell me. But I know I have to go. Because the truth is the only thing that can save me now. And I'm not going to let her take that away from me too. That I spend the hours between sunset and midnight in a state of restless paralysis. I pace my apartment. I drink cold coffee. I replay Jessica's words in my head, over and over, until they blur into a single pulsating scream. The old pier. Midnight. Alone. I know it's a trap. I've known it since the moment her message appeared on my screen. But there's a part of me that needs to see her face. Needs to hear her say the words. Needs to understand why she's done all of this, not just to me but to Jessica, to everyone who's ever crossed her path. At 11:15, I make a decision that I pull out my phone and dial Eleanor's number. She picks up on the second ring. Mia. It's late. I know. I'm sorry. But I need your help. There's a pause. Then. What kind of help? I'm meeting Natalie at the old pier. Midnight. She says she has information about the accident. About what happened to Jessica. Another pause, longer this time. When Eleanor speaks, her voice is sharp. You're walking into a trap. You know that, don't you? I know. But I need to go. I need to hear what she has to say. And I need someone to have my back. Where is this pier? I give her the address. There's silence on the line, and I can almost hear her weighing the options. That I'll have 2 people there, she says finally. They'll stay out of sight until you need them. If anything happens, if she tries anything, you call my number. Not the police. Not your parents. My number. Do you understand? Yes. And Mia? What? Don't trust a word she says. She's spent her entire life learning how to manipulate people. You're not special to her. You're just another piece on the board. The call ends. I sit there in the dark of my apartment, the phone warm in my hand. She's right. I know she's right. But I also know that I've been a piece on Natalie's board my entire life. Tonight, for the first time, I'm going to be the one moving the pieces that I leave my apartment at 11:30. The drive to the pier takes 20 minutes, but I take the long way, circling the block twice to make sure I'm not being followed. The streets are empty. The city feels like a ghost town. I park a block away from the pier and walk the rest of the way. The wind is cold off the water, biting through my jacket. The old pier is a rusted skeleton of what it used to be. A relic from a time when this part of the city had a thriving waterfront. Now it's just abandoned, a place for teenagers to drink and couples to disappear and people like me to meet their demons. She's waiting at the end of the pier. I see her silhouette against the dark water. A slender figure wrapped in a long coat. Her hair is loose, whipping around her face in the wind. She looks almost ethereal, like something out of a painting. "Late as always," she says as I approach. Her voice is calm, controlled. There's no hint of the shrieking woman from the party. This is a different Natalie. A colder one. "I didn't think you'd actually come," I say, stopping a few feet away. "I thought this might be a setup." She laughs, a soft musical sound. "It is a setup, but not the kind you think." She turns to face me fully, and even in the dim light, I can see the smile on her face. "I'm not here to hurt you, Mia. I'm here to offer you a deal." "A deal?" "A truce," she says. "I drop the charges. I stop telling people you attacked me. I even help you fix your reputation. And in return, you give me all the evidence you've gathered. All of it. The photos, the footage, everything." "Isteraher." "Why would I do that?" "Because if you don't, I'll destroy you," she says simply. "Not just your reputation. Not just your life. Everything you care about. I'll make sure you lose your job, your friends, your family. I'll make sure you spend the rest of your life paying for what you've done to me." "What I've done to you?" I feel a laugh bubble up in my throat. "Natalie, you've spent years tearing me down. You framed me for theft. You've been skimming from Dad's accounts. You tried to destroy Jessica Lowell. You don't know anything about Jessica Lowell." She cuts me off, her voice sharp. "You think you know, but you don't. You think she's a victim, but she's not. She's a liar. A manipulator. Just like the rest of them." "The rest of who?" She takes a step closer, and I force myself not to back away. "You want the truth, Mia. Here it is. The night my parents died, I was in the car. I was in the back seat. I saw everything. I saw the drunk driver coming. I saw Jessica's face when she realized she couldn't stop in time. And I saw her lie to the police. I heard her tell them she was stopped at a red light. But she wasn't. She was speeding. She ran the light. And she killed my parents." I feel the wind knock out of me. "What but the records?" "The records are wrong," she says. "They were doctored. Jessica's family paid off the police, paid off the hospital, paid off everyone who could tell the truth. They bought their way out of justice. And you know what? They almost got away with it. If I hadn't found the original witness statements, the real ones, they would have." I shake my head. "That's not what Jessica told me." "Of course she didn't tell you," Natalie says, her voice dripping with contempt. "Why would she? She spent years perfecting her story. The poor, innocent victim of a tragedy. The kind, gentle nurse who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's a master at it. Just like she's a master at making everyone believe she's the victim." I stare at her, my mind spinning. Everything I've learned tonight is colliding with everything I thought I knew. The letter. The medical record. Jessica's tearful confession. And now this debt. "If what you're saying is true," I say slowly, "then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell anyone?" "Because no one would have believed me," she says. "Just like no one believed you at the party. Do you know what it's like to be the one telling the truth and have everyone look at you like you're the monster?" Her words hit me like a slap. "I do know. I know it better than anyone. I found out about Jessica years ago," she continues. "I went to that hospital to volunteer because I needed to see her face. I needed to look into the eyes of the woman who killed my parents and see if she felt any remorse. And you know what she didn't? She didn't care. She sat there in her bed and told me the same lies she'd been telling everyone else." "So you arranged to have her hurt," I say. "You paid someone to hit her with a car." Natalie's eyes flash. She deserved it. She deserved everything that happened to her. She got away with murder, Mia. She took my parents from me and she never paid the price. So I made sure she did. Feel sick. My stomach churns. That's not justice, Natalie. That's revenge. It's the same thing, she says. The only difference is who's holding the gun. We stand there in silence, the wind howling around us. I look at her and for the first time I see her clearly. She's not a monster. She's not a victim. She's just a woman who's been broken in ways I don't fully understand, who's chosen to fight back in the only way she knows how. But that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make any of it right. I can't give you the evidence, I say finally. Not because I want to hurt you, but because I can't let you keep doing this. I can't let you keep hurting people. Her face hardens. Then you're making a mistake. And when everything falls apart, I'm not going to be there to catch you. I don't need you to catch me, I say. I've been catching myself for years. She laughs again, but there's no humor in it. You're so naive, Mia. You think you're the hero of this story. You think you're going to save everyone and ride off into the sunset. But you're not. You're just another pawn. And pawns always get sacrificed. She turns and walks away, her heels clicking against the wooden pier. I watch her go, my heart pounding in my chest. And then I hear the sound that it's faint at first, barely audible over the wind. But it's there. Footsteps. Multiple footsteps. Coming from the direction of the parking lot. I turn, and I see them. 3 figures moving toward me. They're not Eleanor's people. I know that instantly. They're too slow, too deliberate. They're not here to help me. Natalie! I shout, but she's already gone, disappeared into the darkness at the end of the pier. The figures are closer now. I can see their faces. Hard faces. Cold eyes. Men I've never seen before. Mia-chan, one of them asks. His voice is gravelled. Who wants to know? Someone who's very interested in the evidence you've been collecting. Someone who wants to make sure it never sees the light of day. My heart drops. This isn't Natalie. She wouldn't send men like this. This is someone else. Someone who knows about the accounts, about the money, about everything. What do you want? I ask, backing away. The flash drive, he says. The folder you took from the country club. Everything you have. You're going to give it to us, and then you're going to forget you ever saw it. And if I don't, he smiles. It's not a pleasant smile. Then we'll make sure you don't have to worry about remembering anything ever again. I reach for my phone, but one of them is faster. He grabs my wrist and twists it, and the phone clatters to the ground. Don't make this harder than it has to be, the gravelly-voiced man says. You give us the evidence and we walk away. You don't and we take it anyway. I think about the flash drive. It's in my bag, tucked into the inner pocket. They'll find it. They'll find everything, but they won't find the copies. Eleanor's people have copies. Jessica has a copy. And my phone, even if it's on the ground, has been uploading everything to the cloud since I left the country club. That they don't know that. You want the evidence, I say, my voice shaking. Take it. It's in my bag. Just let me go. The man gestures and one of the others grabs my bag. He rummages through it and pulls out the flash drive. Is this it? Everything, I say. That's all of it. The gravelly-voiced man studies me for a moment, then nods. Fine. Let her go. They turn and walk away, disappearing into the darkness. I stand there, my heart racing, my hands shaking. I wait until I'm sure they're gone, then I pick up my phone. The screen is cracked, but it still works. I dial Eleanor's number. Mia, where are you? My people lost you on the... Someone took the evidence, I say, cutting her off. They knew I had it. They knew exactly where I was. Silence. Then, who? I don't know. But they weren't Natalie's people. This was someone else. Someone connected to the accounts. Someone who doesn't want the truth coming out. Another silence. Did they take everything? Yes. Everything I had on me. Good, Eleanor says, and I can hear the smile in her voice. Then they took exactly what I wanted them to take. What do you mean? Your flash drive was a decoy, Mia. The real evidence, the footage, the audio, the bank statements, it's already been processed and filed. By tomorrow morning, it'll be in the hands of the right people, the ones who can do something with it. I lean against a support beam, relief flooding through me. Why didn't you tell me? Because if you didn't know, you couldn't give it away. And I needed them to think they'd won. Who are they who sent those men? I don't know yet, Eleanor says. But I will. And when I find out, I'll make sure they pay for what they did. I close my eyes and take a shaky breath. I need to go home. Do that, she says. And Mia, be careful. They know you're a threat now. They won't stop until you're neutralized. The call ends. I stand there in the dark, staring out at the water. Natalie's words echo in my mind. Pawns always get sacrificed. She might be right. But I'm not a pawn anymore. I'm the one moving the pieces. And I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me. I don't sleep that night. I sit in my apartment with the lights off, watching the shadows move across the walls. My phone stays silent. No messages from Natalie. No calls from my parents. Nothing from Eleanor. It's like the world has collectively decided to hold its breath. At 6 in the morning, I get a text from Eleanor. Turn on your TV. I grab the remote and switch on the local news. The anchor is mid-sentence, her face serious. Developing story this morning as multiple sources confirm allegations against Natalie Chun, daughter of prominent businessman Richard Chun. The allegations include embezzlement, fraud, and witness tampering. Police have confirmed that an investigation is underway. The screen cuts to footage of the country club. The front entrance is swarmed with reporters, cameras flashing. I watch my father push through the crowd, his face a mask of fury and shame. My mother follows close behind, clutching her purse like it's a life raft. I turn up the volume. Sources close to the investigation say that the evidence was submitted anonymously last night, but that it includes audio recordings, financial documents, and security footage. Police have also confirmed that they are looking into a separate incident involving an alleged hit and run that left a local nurse permanently injured. I feel my breath catch. The nurse. Jessica. They're talking about Jessica. The anchor continues. Natalie Chun was taken into custody early this morning for questioning. She has not been formally charged, but police have indicated that charges are likely pending. The screen cuts to a live feed outside the police station. I see Natalie, her hair disheveled, her makeup smudged, being led into the building in handcuffs. She's not crying. She's not fighting. She's just staring straight ahead. Her face blanked. I watch the feed for a few more minutes, then turn off the TV. My hands are shaking. I sit there in the silence, the weight of everything pressing down on me. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Eleanor. It's done. The evidence is with the authorities. Your sister will be held accountable. I'd suggest you stay away from the news for a few hours. It's going to get ugly. I type back. Thank you. For everything. Her reply comes quickly. You did the work. I just made sure it landed in the right hands. I put the phone down and stare out the window. The sun is rising, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. It's the first morning I've woken up in this timeline without a knot of fear in my stomach. The first morning I haven't had to wonder what Natalie was planning next, but it's not over. I know it's not over. I spend the next few hours in a daze. I clean my apartment. I make breakfast. I try to read a book. But my mind keeps circling back to the same questions. What happens now? What happens to me? What happens to my family? At noon. I get another text. This one is from my father. Can we talk please? I'll come to you. I stare at the message for a long moment. Then I type back, okay. He arrives an hour later. I open the door, and he's standing there in his expensive suit, his tie loosened, his eyes red-rimmed. He looks older than I've ever seen him. Smollered, thank you for seeing me, he says. His voice is hoarse. I step aside and let him in. He walks into my small apartment, looking around like he's never seen a place like this before. Which I suppose he hasn't. I know you're angry, he says, sitting down on my couch. I know I don't have any right to ask for your forgiveness. But I need to tell you something. I sit across from him. I'm listening. I went to the police this morning, he says. I gave them a full statement. Everything I knew. Everything I should have known. I told them about the accounts, about the missing money, about everything Natalie has been doing for years. I told them the truth. I feel something shift in my chest. Why? Because I should have done it a long time ago, he says. Because I've been blind. Because I let your mother and Natalie convince me that everything was fine, that you were the problem, that you were just jealous and bitter and making things up. And I believed them. I believed them because it was easier than facing the truth. I don't say anything. I just let him talk. When you were little, he continues, you were the easiest child in the world. You were quiet, you were kind, you never asked for anything. And I thought that meant you were fine. I thought that meant you didn't need me. But you did. You needed me and I wasn't there. I feel tears prick at the corners of my eyes. I blink them back. Natalie was always loud, he says. She was always demanding. She needed attention. She needed validation. She needed someone to tell her she was special. And I gave it to her. I gave it to her because I thought that's what she needed to heal from losing her parents. But I didn't see that she was taking it from you. I didn't see that she was making you small so she could be big. I look at him, and I see the shame in his eyes. The real, genuine shame. Dad, I say, and my voice cracks. I wanted you to see. I wanted you to believe me. I know, he says. I know you did. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mia. I failed you. I failed you in every way a father could fail a daughter. I feel the tears spill over, and I don't try to stop them. I let them fall. Can we start over, he asks, his voice barely a whisper. I know it's not fair to ask. I know I don't deserve it. But I want to try. I want to be the father you deserve. I sit there for a long moment watching him. The man who gave me life. The man who let me down. The man who's sitting in my tiny apartment, telling me he's sorry. Okay. I say finally. Okay. We can try. He reaches for my hand and I let him hold it. At 3 p.m, I get a call from Eleanor. The police have enough to charge her, she says. Embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy to commit assault. They're also looking into the incident with Jessica. There's a good chance she'll be facing serious jail time. I nod, even though she can't see me. And what about the men who came after me? Identified, she says. They're connected to a shell company that's linked to a business associate of your father's. Someone who was also embezzling from the company. They were trying to protect themselves by taking you out of the equation. But it won't work. The evidence is airtight. Is it over? I asked. It's over for Natalie, she says. But for you this is just the beginning. You have a chance to rebuild now. A real chance. Don't waste it. I won't, I say. Thank you, Eleanor. For everything. Don't thank me. Just live well. That's the best revenge you can get. The call ends and I sit there in the silence. For the first time in my life I don't feel like I'm holding my breath. For the first time in my life I feel free. I go to visit Jessica the next day. She's sitting in her living room, the same tired eyes, the same guarded expression. But when she sees me, something softens in her face. Did you hear? I ask. The police. I heard, she says. They came to see me. They took my statement. They said they're going to prosecute her. She shakes her head like she can't quite believe it. I never thought this day would come. It has, I say. It's finally here. Thank you, Mia. She reaches for my hand. You didn't have to do this. You didn't even know me. But you believed me. That means more than you know. I squeeze her hand. You deserve to be believed. You deserve justice. She smiles, and for the first time, I see something like hope in her eyes. 2 weeks later, Natalie's trial begins. I don't attend the first few days. I can't bring myself to sit in that courtroom and watch her face as the evidence is laid out. But my father does. He tells me about it in hushed tones when he comes to visit. She's not the same person, he says. She looks empty, like all the fight has drained out of her. She's finally facing the consequences, I say. For the first time in her life. I know, he says. I keep thinking about what I could have done differently. How I could have seen it sooner. How I could have stopped her. I put my hand on his arm. We can't change the past. All we can do is move forward. He nods and I see a tear slide down his cheek. I go to the last day of the trial. The courtroom is packed. I sit in the back away from the reporters and the cameras. I watch Natalie sit at the defense table, her hair pulled back, her face pale. She's not wearing handcuffs, but she might as well be. Her shoulders are hunched. Her eyes are fixed on the table in front of her. The verdict is read. Guilty on all counts. That I watch her face as the words are spoken. There's no anger. No outrage. Just a quiet, defeated acceptance. That as they lead her out of the courtroom, she catches my eye. For a moment, we just look at each other. Then she nods, a small, almost imperceptible movement that I don't know what it means. Forgiveness, resignation, and acknowledgement of what we've both lost. I don't know. But I nod back. That after the trial, I walk out of the courthouse into the bright sunlight. The reporters swarm, but I push through them, ignoring their questions. I just want to breathe. My mother is waiting for me at the bottom of the steps. She looks smaller than I remember. Older. The years of protecting Natalie have taken their toll. Mia, she says, her voice trembling. Can we talk? I look at her, and I feel a surge of anger. This is the woman who chose Natalie over me, over and over again. Who turned a blind eye to her cruelty. Who made me feel like I was the problem. But then I remember my father's words. I let them convince me it was easier than facing the truth. My mother did the same thing. She was afraid. She was weak. She made the wrong choice, but she made it out of fear, not malice. Okay, I say. Let's walk. We walk in silence for a few blocks, away from the courthouse, away from the crowd. The city hums around us, but it feels distant, like we're in our own bubble. I know you hate me, she says finally. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I need you to know that I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Mia. I don't hate you, I say. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I don't hate you. She stops walking and turns to face me. Tears are streaming down her face. What can I do? How can I fix this? I look at her, this woman who raised me, who failed me, who loves me in her own broken way. You can start by being honest, I say. With yourself. With me. With everyone. No more lies. No more covering things up. From now on, you tell the truth. Even when it's hard. She nods, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. I can do that. I can try. Then that's enough, I say. We'll figure out the rest as we go. She reaches for me, and I let her hug me. It's awkward and stiff, like we're both relearning how to be close. But it's a start. It's been 6 months since the trial. 6 months of rebuilding. 6 months of therapy and long conversations and slowly, carefully learning to trust again. My father has stepped back from the business, handing over the day-to-day operations to a trusted partner. He spends more time at home now, more time with me. We still have a long way to go, but we're moving in the right direction. My mother has started seeing a therapist. She's learning to confront the things she did and didn't do during all those years. It's not easy. Some days she cries. Some days she's angry. But she's trying. That's all I can ask for. And me, I'm still figuring it out. I still have bad days. I still wake up sometimes, my heart racing, convinced that it's all going to fall apart. But those days are getting fewer. The fear is getting quieter, that I think about Natalie sometimes. She's serving her sentence now. I haven't visited her. I'm not sure if I ever will. But I think about her. I think about the girl she could have been, the person she might have become if things had been different. I don't forgive her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I've stopped letting her define me. Last week, I went back to the old pier. I stood at the end, looking out at the water, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace that I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever fully heal from the years of cruelty and lies. But I know I'm not the same person I was before. I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm not going to let anyone make me feel small again. That I think about what Eleanor said. Live well. That's the best revenge you can get. She was right. That I take a deep breath and walk away from the pier, back toward the city, back toward my life. The sun is warm on my face, and for the first time in forever, I'm not looking back. I'm moving forward.